Good morning, good morning. I'm Reverend Karen Lewis, and it is my joy to be here this morning. It was a close call, and I'll tell you about that a little later. But here I am, and I wanted to take a moment and welcome each and every one of you here in the sanctuary. Those of you who texted this morning and said, I'm going to stay in my pajamas today, and I'll be at home. So welcome. Welcome into this community. Welcome into this place where we appreciate one another and love one another. Welcome home. I'm so glad to be here, welcoming those who are here for the first time and those who are here almost every Sunday. We are in an interesting time. I have been reminded how much we talk about journeys around here. Just a couple of weeks ago, Reverend Leslie completed our annual theme of the spiritual hero's journey. And in one of the meetings that we had last week, somebody shared with us that they weren't so sure about an annual hero's journey because their experience was that there were many hero's journeys that she was in throughout every month, sometimes every day. Yes. And so I really appreciated it because I think that year-long deepening into that structure has really helped us. I know for sure it has helped me to find my way through the different journeys that I am in. And this week was no different. This week was no different. We are looking at the spiritual gifts of waiting. And we have looked at 5 already. We're going to do a little review today and then anchor into the last 2. And I wanted to share that the journey I found myself in. If there are any parents or grandparents in the room, I know we have a brand new grandpa among us somewhere. Yes, congratulations. You know, if you're an uncle or an aunt, you know that first week when you bring home a baby and they wake up every couple hours and you love them. Well, my life partner Tom and I, we didn't bring home a brand new baby. We brought home a brand new knee. Kind of the same thing. So this morning, this morning we had the person who was giving care to him this morning ring the doorbell at 8 o'clock, and that was my wake-up call. That's usually 5 o'clock on Sunday morning. So that's why I say it was a close call that I would be here, but here I am. So. And love, and thank you to all the loving care that has come forward for the both of us through this journey. You know, we are always on a journey of waiting, are we not? The author of this book that I have been studying, that I have been bringing forth here, says it this way. Oh, thank you, Julene, for finding my glasses. It's all working out perfect. The journey is our home, and our journey will always include waiting. It will always include waiting. This is true if we are on a journey of healing a broken heart or healing from a physical ailment. It is true if we are on a journey of self-discovery or accepting our inner worth. Or if we are on a journey to find what is my gift to give in the world. Or finding that new home, a new school, a new job. Whatever journey we are on, it includes a time of waiting. And so I invite each one of us to take a moment and see if you can articulate for yourself which one of those journeys, what is the journey that I am on right now? What is really up for me? And I invite us all to keep our personal journeys in mind as we go through and unwrap these gifts and have a look at how they can support us as we walk down the path, as we wait for the next step to make itself known. And the first gift we have looked at is the gift of patience. And waiting really teaches us to look at life in increments, to notice the little things that are going easier, smoother. Patience invites us to see how our life fell into place gracefully, and sometimes without our doing anything about it. But stepping back and allowing that natural flow of life to bring it all together. And that brings us to the second gift, the loss of control. Now, for those of us who see control as the ultimate achievement, I have achieved control. I know it sounds funny, but we do act that way sometimes, are we not? Yeah, we feel like we have control over the things that are coming at us. So for those of us who see control as the ultimate achievement, it can be hard to see it, the loss of control, as a gift. Where's the gift in that? And so I invite us to have a look at consciously releasing the need for control. See how that works. Accepting more than ever before that which is before us. Not fighting against it, but saying yes to it. And not just on the surface, but really feeling it deep within. Releasing the need to control. And that brings us into this wonderful concept that we often talk about here, and that is living in the present moment. Being here. Yeah, a couple people listened. Nice. Being here now. Allowing anything that came before this moment to just be. Not even trying to understand it, to make it right or wrong. Nothing about it. Just let it be. And not focusing on that which will come, because it will come in its own divine right timing. But being in this now moment, without needs, without desires, present to what is. And our breath helps us, breathing in. Becoming aware that this now moment is truly all that we have. Emmett Fox, the Irish spiritual leader, says it this way: the art of life is to live in the present moment. Yeah. So true. And that brings us to the next gift, which we talked about last week, and that is the gift of compassion. This idea that when something is going on in our life, how very, very helpful it is to reach out to another who understands it, who has gone before us, who has experienced something similar. I often think that life opens us up, brings us into those deep places of challenge, so that we may grow and be there for another. Kind of what it said in the song, right? When you are stepping up to the next step on the ladder, turn around and offer a helping hand to the next person to raise them up. Compassion, deep understanding. And this can happen without words. Just a willingness to be there when one walks through this challenging time of waiting. And that brings us to the gift of gratitude or appreciation. Waiting can give us unexpected moments to appreciate all that is peaceful and calm and working in our lives. Yet, how often do we take the time and say, "Oh, I want to appreciate my niece who happened to work perfectly"? No, we are like, "I have a headache," and that's where we are focusing on. So let's take a moment and consciously feel into your physical being and appreciate a part you don't even feel, because it's working perfectly. Yeah. Pick your liver, your heart, your lungs, your right elbow, whatever. Really appreciate that which is working smoothly. And we can expand to do exactly that in our lives. A relationship that is just flowing. So that we don't fall into the trap of taking anything for granted. Appreciation, what a wonderful gift of waiting. And that brings us to humility. Sometimes we wait because we can't do anything else. We recognize that we are powerless. And this powerlessness can be a spiritual opening as we get into contact with our own vulnerability. A few years ago now, our former bookstore manager here at the New Vision Center, Paul McNeesey, made his transition. He had a very aggressive form of cancer, and a couple of weeks before his transition, his family, the kids would come in for 1 week at a time. And a couple weeks before he did make his transition, he called me and asked if I would come and sit with him. And we said, and in the beginning of those 2 weeks, of that 2-week journey, we had a lot of conversations, and he shared that he was so surprised by the gift of joy that he found in this cancer journey. He realized that everything else fell away, and he had the time to be with his children. On my last visit, there were no more words. We just said. And I realized that this time of waiting to release the physical body was filled with grace. There were no meetings I had to attend, no brilliant words I had to pull from somewhere. It was just being there. And that gift was received by both of us. So when we look at this time of waiting, this time of being rendered helplessly as a gift, it makes space for grace. when we realize there is really nothing we can do to fix it. Waiting then becomes a holy, sacred act. Of course, often as we allow ourselves to deepen into this vulnerable place, the great trio of trouble shows up. Rushing, clinging, and forcing. Rushing through this moment because we are not used to being in those heart-opening spaces. Clinging, we do not want whatever is in front of us to change. And forcing our idea of how this should be on this situation. However, the great teachers of the ages tell us that there is a better way. Among them, the master teacher Jesus, who says, "I can do nothing on my own accord, but the Father within does the work." In New Thought, the way we think about is that there is a place within us where we are of the divine, that is the divine spark, the light that has been lit by that eternal candle. And our work in those moments is to get our bloated nothingness out of the way and trust and know that we are here to do that work, that sacred work of the divine. Ernest Holmes says it this way: "The spark which burns at the center of our own soul is caught from the living and eternal flame of the Spirit." So I look at it this way: there's us, love. And if we remove the saying, we see it projected into the world. How can we be prepared enough to be willing to lay it all down and be present to what life asks of us in this now moment? And if life is asking us to wait, how can we be present to that? By being humble. And that, my beloved, brings us to the final gift. Trust in God, trust in Spirit. And this may well be the greatest gift of waiting. Because trust in the divine takes us beyond the selves. It makes us, it prepares us to rely on that undiscovered territory. Where even our will matters no longer. Where we open our entire being to that which is greater than we are. And we can feel the challenge in that, can we not? Because we are so focused on doing. At least I am, you know? I can do stuff. I can do stuff. I can make stuff happen. And then life comes and asks to go beyond that. Into that space of trusting that I have no idea how to do this. And yet I trust that there is a partner, the divine within me, that knows. And I can lean into that. And at times when I don't feel it, I can expand that circle of trust and see it in another, in a friend, in someone who has walked before me. Trust in the divine is a very personal experience. I found this quote by Bernard Thorogood. Unsleeping friend, when I come to the end of my strength and my work has no blessing in it, help me to remember you, to reach for the hand of a friend and to find your love is here. During those times of waiting, life can feel overwhelming. These gifts can help us to make it through that time. As we realize that we have never been alone, that there is a place within us that knows. And when we cannot find our way to that place, there are people, friends, beloveds, who can help us. And the love is there. I am so grateful that the New Vision Center, that our congregation, our community has shown such a willingness to go onto these journeys, to be there for one another. Unwrapping these gifts together with you has made a tremendous difference in my life. And I am so grateful to be here with you. Thank you. And so now we do what we do. We take all of this and bring it into our heart space as we speak a spiritual mind treatment. I invite all of the ministers in the room and all of the practitioners and the practitioners in training and everyone who feels called to take a stand for a sacred yes, to be consciously on this journey, to please rise and stand with me as we together hold this space. As we together affirm that there's only one power, there's only one. And we feel and know sweet spirit making itself known as love, as peace, as harmony, as joy. For in this moment, this is all there is. And it is from this place that we take a moment to bless one another. Those who are on a journey of discovering who they are, those who are on a journey of discovering healing from a physical ailment, from an addiction, from whatever pain is in their world. We open our hearts and know the highest and best for each person who has placed a prayer request into our ministry of prayers. For all the people who celebrate the solstice, Advent, during this sacred time of the flourishing of the Christ consciousness in each and every one of us. And I invite us to feel gratitude just rising up from that deep place within, from the place where we know that we are one. Thank you, life, for all of it. And we let it be, knowing it is good, and so it is.